Foreign Minister Seiji Maehara made a two-day visit to Moscow on February 11th. After arriving in Moscow, Minister Maehara had a 2-hour meeting with his Russian counterpart, Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, followed by a joint press conference and a 1-hour working lunch. This was their second full-fledged meeting since APEC Japan in Yokohama in November 2010. During the meetings, the two ministers discussed bilateral relations, including territorial issues and cooperation in economic fields, and also collaboration in international areas, such as issues related to North Korea and the Asia-Pacific region. Through those discussions, the two ministers agreed that despite existing difficulties between the two nations, Japan and Russia should advance bilateral relations to work on economic, cultural, and political issues. This includes territorial issues, as well as collaboration in the international scene, in effort to build good ties as partners in the Asia-Pacific region. As for the territorial issue, Minister Maehara said, as shown by Minister Maehara's remarks, Japan clearly conveyed its basic position that the Northern Territories are inherent territories of Japan and should be returned to Japan. In addition, Minister Maehara expressed regret over a series of visits by high-ranking Russian government officials to the Northern Territories, following President Dmitry Medvedev's visit to Kunashiri Island in November of last year. Concerning the territorial issue, both sides agreed to continue discussions in a quiet atmosphere, as they recognize the necessity to seek a solution that is acceptable to both countries, on the basis of agreements and documents established so far between the two countries. In the afternoon, Minister Maehara attended the 9th meeting of the Japan-Russia Intergovernmental Committee on Trade and Economy. Minister Maehara and Minister Viktor Krystenko, Minister of Industry and Trade of Russia, chaired the meeting. Both ministers exchanged views on progressing the Japan-Russo reciprocal economic relationship. The discussion was meaningful in many ways, including an outlook for stimulating the Japanese economy, as the securing of stable supply of natural resources and the supporting of overseas activities of Japanese enterprises were among the topics discussed.
日露経済関係を具体的に進捗させるための官民会合、円卓会議を本年中にロシアにて開催することで合意をいたしました。
In the press conference after the meeting, Minister Maehara explained the main discussion points. Firstly, it was agreed in principle that a high-level public-private roundtable committee would be formed. Secondly, it was decided to set up a consultative mechanism on a vice-ministerial level for responding to inquiries from businesses. Thirdly, the Japanese side urged the Russian side to promote individual business projects that Japanese companies have interests in. On the same day, Minister Maehara also had meaningful exchanges of views with Russian experts on diplomatic issues. The following morning, in extremely cold weather with a temperature of -12 degrees Celsius, Minister Maehara laid a wreath at the Japanese cemetery, and he visited the Novodevichy Monastery. Then he became the first senior Japanese official to appear on the radio program Echo of Moscow, that is known to have invited many dignitaries in the past, including former Russian President Vladimir Putin, former U.S. President Bill Clinton, and current U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton.
Я думаю, что
Хорошо, мы готовы.
Afterwards, Minister Maehara moved to the Kremlin and had a meeting with the Chief of Staff of the Presidential Executive Office, Sergei Naryshkin. They discussed the future direction of the Japan-Russian relationship, including the recent visits of senior Russian officials to the Northern Territories and the peace treaty issue.
Знаю, что вы вчера провели плодотворные переговоры с
Minister Maehara and Naryshkin agreed to promote ties through close communication between top leaders, foreign ministers, and other high-level officials based on mutual trust.
Христенко, и
我々も大変それについて領土問題については日本の立場をしっかりものを言い、お互いが顔を合わせて信頼関係を持って静かな形で議論していこうということで、ラブロフ外相あるいは今ナルシキン大統領府長官と合意ができたこと、また実りの多い話ができたことは大変良かったのではないかと思っておりますし、対局に立った場合にこの両国の関係というのは極めて重要でありますし、発展をさせていきたいというふうに思っております。
On the second day, Minister Maehara also met with the Japan Association of Corporate Executives and Japanese business representatives and visited Japanese retail stores. After completing the tight but fruitful schedule for promoting economic diplomacy with Russia, Minister Maehara boarded the airplane and returned home.